If you're looking for a low-key yet walkable neighborhood here in the Atlanta area that's not going to cost you a fortune, relatively speaking, well then one neighborhood that is kind of a little bit of a hidden gem is East Atlanta. I'm going to show you around this neighborhood today, tell you what's cool about it, including a lot of murals like the one you're seeing behind me. So stick around, we're going to talk all about living here in East Atlanta. But first, let me introduce myself. My name's Molly. Welcome back to my channel where I talk all things living here in the city, and I'm glad you could join me today. If you're thinking about making a move here or you need further help with your home search, you know what to do. Reach out to me. My contact information is down in that comments box. Feel free to reach out. Don't be shy. That's what I'm here for. So, okay, we're talking about East Atlanta. Let me put this neighborhood up on a map so you can see where it is at. It is just south of the I-20 interstate, and it is very close to a lot of other fun in-town neighborhoods. So this neighborhood, like I said, it's kind of a secret hidden gem. A lot of people don't think about it when you think walkable neighborhoods, but it has its own little downtown area, which I'm about to show you here in just a second. It's called East Atlanta Village. But as far as drive times from East Atlanta Village, if you're looking to get to the airport, that's not too bad of a drive, about 20 minutes. Downtown will take you about 15 minutes. The Midtown area, 17 minutes, and the Buckhead area, about 30 minutes. But I will say, if there is heavy traffic, add on 10 to 15 minutes. And one thing I will say about traveling up to Buckhead, it's a lot quicker to go up to Buckhead, but coming back down, no matter what route you take, it always seems to take a lot longer, especially during peak hours. Okay, so I'm gonna start heading my way over into East Atlanta Village, which is the heart of this neighborhood. It is where all of the restaurants, the pubs, are at. So if you're looking for something to eat, this is where you're gonna go. And they do have a good nightlife scene. They have a couple pubs here where there'll be live music. And this neighborhood just feels like its own little neighborhood. Like catty corner from me right now, there's a fire station and they've got their own post office. But you're gonna see here in East Atlanta too that there's a lot of murals. It's very artsy, eclectic. You know, no one's trying to be fancy around here. So if you are wanting kind of like the Buckhead style, that is completely the opposite of this neighborhood. But let me give you a shot of the East Atlanta Village so you can see what that's like, see what the restaurants are, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I wanted to veer off for just a second from the East Atlanta Village and all the shops and restaurants to take you up to Moreland Avenue, because this is going to be your main artery to get out of this neighborhood. No matter where you want to go, you're going to hop on Moreland Avenue. And I will say it can be a major pain, and it's going to be your arch nemesis of this neighborhood, because Moreland Avenue gets very busy. It backs up, especially during those peak travel times. So you have to have a little patience when it comes to Moreland Avenue. A couple other things I'll note: when you're traveling along Moreland Avenue, it's not the sightliest. We are not in the suburbs, honey. This is in-town living at its finest. It's just not going to be all put together. That's just how this area is. Now, one other question I get asked about with East Atlanta is it by the Beltline? No, the Beltline does not come through this neighborhood. However, it is fairly close. So from the heart of the East Atlanta Village neighborhood off of Flat Shoals and Glenwood Avenue, Right here is Glenwood Avenue. If you just keep going, it's about 0.7 miles over you get over into Glenwood Park, and that's where you'll access the Beltline. So it's not too far away, but you're gonna have to cross over this busy intersection. And just one other thing, if you're finding a home that's on Moreland Avenue, the price usually looks a little bit more attractive, but there's a catch. It's on Moreland Avenue, which is very busy, so you're gonna have a lot of traffic noise. So let me dip back into the village and show you a little bit more. So this Holy Taco restaurant, this is where you want to go if you're craving tacos and margaritas here in the East Atlanta area. Okay, so as you can see from the shots of this East Atlanta village, also called for short EAV, it's an eclectic group of restaurants and art, and I will say just no one's trying to be overly fancy. It's just a very chill vibe. Like I said, they have some live music at the all right, that's much better. But if you're craving nightlife and music, there's bands always playing at the Earl. Another cool place to go is Midway Pub. So that is all here in the East Atlanta Village area. Okay, before I head out to the green space, I'm going to show you that there is a park also just south of the East Atlanta Village. You may be wondering, okay, what does it cost to live here already? Okay, let me get into those numbers. And by the way, I've done a video here of the East Atlanta area before, but it's been like 2 or 3 years since I've made that video. So I wanted to give you an updated look at the East Atlanta area. So let's talk about single family homes. So single family homes, there's going to be a lot of older homes here, some quirky ones, some smaller ones. But on average, you're going to be paying $581,000 for a single family home. That'll give you about 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and 1,800 square feet on average. Obviously, if you want some newer construction, you're going to be paying more in that probably $900K price point. There haven't been too many sales over $1 million yet. You know, I've talked about this in my Kirkwood vlog tour, that Kirkwood for the longest time never hit sales over $1 million, but now they have crested that. And I feel like East Atlanta Village, that hasn't really popped off yet, but I think just give it a little bit more time, I think it'll get there. So I would say high end, you're going to be paying about 900 in the upper 900s. On the low end, you know, especially the closer you are to East Atlanta Village, the more expensive it is going to become. You can probably get a 2 bedroom, 2 bath here near the East Atlanta Village for like $500K, but otherwise you're going to be paying a lot more to live in walking distance to East Atlanta Village. The further south you go, that's where you can find some homes with a little bit more square footage, and you can find homes in that 500 to 600K price point. But if you want closer in, you're going to be paying a lot more. Okay, for townhomes, average price for a townhome is $558,000. That on average will give you 3 bedroom, 3.5 bath, and 1,700 square feet. The reason that townhome prices are high is that you have new construction townhomes. So like these ones behind me, these are called the Ironside at East Atlanta. Those are going to be in the mid 600K range, and kind of catty corner from here, there's some townhomes built by Toll Brothers. Those are called Portland Row. They were built in 2021. Those are going to be in the low 500 to the low 600K price point. So there you go. I'm going to walk over to the green space next. Okay, so the primary green space you're going to find here in East Atlanta is just southwest of the East Atlanta Village, and I am in Brownwood Park, and I will say they got a little bit of a makeover because there is some new playground equipment here. And if you're wondering, do families live here? Are there kids around here? Yes, there are tons of families that live here in the East Atlanta Village area. Your next question might be, okay, what are the schools like? So the schools that are zoned to East Atlanta are Burgess Peterson, Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School, and Maynard Jackson High School. And they're all pretty good ranking. I would say do your research to see if they're going to fit your needs. Now, I will say there is a little bit of a catch. So when you're looking at the map and the borderlines of East Atlanta, it's a little funky, and a lot of people just kind of lump in this area that's south of the East Atlanta Village in with East Atlanta. They just say, oh, well, I live in East Atlanta. But there is kind of a cutoff point where it goes from the Burgess Peterson, Maynard Jackson High School school zone, and then it drops over into the Ronald E. McNair Elementary, the McNair Middle, and the McNair High School, which those are not as great of ranking schools. So, you know, if that is something that's important to you, just watch where those boundary lines are, and you'll kind of notice a difference too in the price point of homes too. As you get into that McNair school zone, the prices do drop off a little bit. Okay, to give you an example of something on the higher end, it is right behind me here. This blue house, it was built in 2021, and it is a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, and 2-half-bath home. It does have a 2-car garage and a flex space upstairs. This sold for $1 million. It actually went $15,000 over the list price. There's obviously a couple people bidding on this, but I will say the location is phenomenal. It's walking distance to the park. It's walking distance to East Atlanta Village. So I'm not surprised that there was multiple offers on it, but this is going to be more of your more expensive home, and I would say there's not too many that go over that $1 million mark. So there you go. That's an example of a $1 million home, and finishes are great inside, open concept as usual. So there you go. But let me take you to another street here with a couple more examples that'll give you kind of an idea of middle price range and then something on the lower spectrum as well. So let's go. Okay, so right behind me here, this is something that's going to be kind of your middle price range home here in East Atlanta, and this sold for $675,000. It was a remodeled bungalow, 1,600 square feet roughly, very modern inside with quartz countertops, the open kitchen layout that everyone loves. It has a nice big walk-in closet, and it does have a carport in the backyard. So there you go. There's an example of something in that middle price range. Let me keep heading down the street. I have one more example to show you. Okay, for my last example right behind me here, this one sold for $499. It's a 3-2. It's pretty much the same square footage as the last example, but this one doesn't have as much updates in it. It's got a little bit choppier of a layout. It has granite in the kitchen. It's kind of a galley style kitchen, smaller primary bathroom. It does have a great back deck though. So there you go. There's some home examples for you. And as always, in a lot of these in-town neighborhoods here in Atlanta, you're not going to always get a garage. Some of the newer, bigger homes here in East Atlanta will have a garage, but more common is going to be a driveway, and that's all you're going to get, maybe a carport. So obviously, if you have one of those, you're probably going to be paying a little bit more. But let me keep going here, and I'll show you a few more typical streets here in East Atlanta. I'm standing right here where East Atlanta holds their weekly farmers market. This is between Flat Shoals Avenue and Stokeswood Avenue. So if you come here on Thursdays between 4 and 8, you're going to find vendors here selling their produce, flowers, etc. It's just one of the ways that East Atlanta brings the community together. Now, they also hold some other festivals throughout the year, and I'd say their biggest one is in September. It's called the East Atlanta Strut. They do a parade. They have people selling crafts, and of course it gives you an excuse to drink beer and wander around and listen to music and that good thing. So yeah, East Atlanta is just like a sweet little neighborhood that just feels like a tight-knit community. Okay, now I'm going to hit a couple of streets here on the east side of the East Atlanta Village. I was kind of south of the village and showing you a couple homes there, but now I'll show you kind of what some typical streets look here on the east side of the Atlanta Village area. And right beside me here, you're going to get some of these newer craftsman style homes, nice big lots. And if you're liking modern homes, you can find a few here and there. Like there is one right behind me here. But I would say most prevalent in East Atlanta is going to be your typical bungalow, a lot of renovated bungalows, some older ones, and a lot of those newer craftsman style homes. It really just kind of depends. And obviously the nicer, newer, bigger it is, it's going to cost you more. Now I think by now you're kind of getting the idea of what kind of home styles you're going to get, but you get a little bit of everything. I mean, here's another example of a modern home right behind me, but check this out. When you look across the street, you've got this colorful, eclectic bungalow, if you will. So that is just one thing about East Atlanta. If you are deciding to live here, you know, I would say each block is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be a homogeneous look. So if you're looking for that, well, maybe go to Brookhaven, because that's where you can get, you know, very similar homes, row by row, block by block. Now, another thing I'll mention about East Atlanta when you are looking at homes or considering homes here. Now, remember I said that East Atlanta is right next to I-20. So if you are looking at homes that are right next to I-20 or even a couple blocks in, you're going to hear that I-20 noise. Now, the further away you get from it, obviously you don't hear it as much. And I think people that live near it, you get really used to it really quickly. But sometimes you can scoop up a home there at a little bit of a discount because of that road noise. Okay, so I'm just on one of the streets, kind of just about a mile away from the East Atlanta Village, and you're going to see these homes on these streets are kind of your smaller bungalow style, but it's a nice quiet street. And one thing I always like to mention is, where are the grocery stores? Where are you going to do your shopping here if you live in East Atlanta? So grocery stores, there is a Kroger just south of the village, probably about a mile or so on Moreland Avenue, or you can skip over the highway on I-20. There is a Kroger and a Target over there at the Edgewood Shopping Center. If you're more of a Publix fan, you can go hit the one up off of Memorial Avenue over in the Madison Yards area. And there's also a Kroger over in Glenwood Park. So there's your grocery store options for you. Now I'm going to edge around the corner here, and I am right by the elementary school, the Burgess Peterson Elementary School. So I will walk by there real quick and show you that. All right, so here is the Burgess Peterson Elementary School, and I will say it's on the far east side of the East Atlanta neighborhood, so not everyone may want to be walking to it, but it is on Glenwood Avenue, which is a very busy road if you can't tell by all the cars passing by me. So the cross is Glenwood Avenue and Clifton Street, but great school. I've taken a tour of it many, many years ago. They've got a great program there. But now I'm going to take you kind of south of Atlanta, or East Atlanta, and show you some home options if, you know, maybe if this school district isn't quite as important to you, but having a big house, some square footage, a garage, so a little bit newer, and you don't have to spend quite as much money. There is an area that you could consider. It's a little pocket of a planned community, so I will take you there next. Okay, so if you are looking for something a little bit newer and more of a homogeneous look and not quite so expensive for the square footage, then one place you might want to look is there's this little community called East Side Walk, and there's actually kind of an older part that was built in 2006 and a newer part that was built in like 2017, 2019. So for the newer homes, you can get anywhere from 4 to 5 bedrooms and anywhere from like 2,700 up to like 3,800 square feet. You're going to pay anywhere from that low 600 to low 700K price point. If you're looking at those older homes built in 2006, you can get those, you know, for around the 500K price point, but they're going to be smaller, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2,600 square feet. But there is an HOA with this community. It's not much though. It's $650 a year, and it does have a community pool. So this is a great option if you're looking to be close to East Atlanta Village, but you want more newer, more bang for your buck kind of thing. It is about 2.6 miles away from the East Atlanta Village, so it's about a 5-minute drive. Now, I will say this is not zoned to the Burgess Peterson Elementary School and the Maynard Jackson High School. This is to the McNair cluster. So that's one thing that is just going to be different about over here is you're not going to be in the same school district. But this is just an option, and there's actually a few more of these kind of planned communities near East Atlanta. So if that's something you're interested, reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. Okay, guys, now it's time for pros and cons of living in East Atlanta. On my pros list, well, definitely East Atlanta is a lot more affordable, relatively speaking, than other in-town neighborhoods. I mean, at most you're going to spend $1 million, and that'll get you a newer construction home. Otherwise, you know, anywhere in the budget of $500,000 to $800,000, you can find a variety of homes in East Atlanta. You know, if you want to find a deal, there's certainly deals to be had in this neighborhood if you have a little bit of vision and want to put in some sweat equity into a house. Also, on the pro side, it's very walkable. As you have seen, you know, that East Atlanta Village area provides a lot of walkability for neighbors living in that neighborhood. Also, it gives you a good neighborhood community feel just with the events that they have going on throughout the year, and just the overall vibe in that area. Also, there's some nightlife, so if you like going out and, you know, hitting the bars and the pubs, that is a great option. So let's talk about the cons. So I would say on the con side, you do hear a little bit about some riffraff, some car break-ins, some petty theft, and it can get a little rowdy there in East Atlanta Village late at night just because, you know, people in bars, it gets rowdy. That's just the way it is. Another con, in my opinion, is that it can take a lot more time to get to other neighborhoods. I mean, it's great that East Atlanta is so close to these other neighborhoods, but I feel like it can take some time just because you have to get on Moreland Avenue, which can be really backed up even on weekends when it's not even, you know, your typical rush hour. It's just that a lot of people use that road, and so it can just take a while to go up north or even go out west, but at least you have quick access onto I-20. I'd say my final con of East Atlanta is just you're not going to have super polished streets. I mean, it can be a street by street basis, and not every house is going to be in the best condition. There's going to be some great ones and then mixed in with a few scrappy ones, but that's just how East Atlanta Village is. So if you don't like that, go to the suburbs or go to Buckhead, something like that. Okay, I promised you I would take you over to a food hall, and it's brand new, well, about 1 year old. So let me take you there next. Okay, so I'm just about 2 miles south of the East Atlanta Village area off of Moreland Avenue, and if you can't tell, it's a very busy road and traffic has definitely picked up on Moreland. A lot of cars going by, flying by actually, and there's a new eatery that popped up May of 2024, so it's coming up on its 1 year birthday. It's got 10 eateries. It's pretty bougie inside, so if you're looking for something different, certainly come and check this out for getting some food. Looks like they're doing a new mural on the exterior of this building. And I will say, like, this part of Moreland, it is not the sightliest. Like, you've got like a rim shop, there's an AutoZone across the street, there is a Dunkin' Donuts across the street as well, but it's not the sightliest part of Moreland, but this is a very close option for some other food destinations if you live in East Atlanta or south of the East Atlanta area. So let me take you around because you park in the backside, and let's go check it out. And there you go. That is a quick tour of the Halidom Eatery, again, right off of Moreland Avenue, 2 miles south of the East Atlanta Village area. So it's just another option for you to go to if you're looking for something to eat. They do different events over the weekends and throughout the year, so you can be on the lookout for those. And yeah, it looked a little dead in there, but it was a weekday, a Wednesday at 3:30, so not a lot of people eating at that hour. But you guys, that kind of wraps up my tour of the East Atlanta neighborhood. What did you think? Is it for you? Yes, no? It's definitely more of a chill environment, eclectic, not for everybody, but for a lot of people, this is definitely their vibe. Nothing showy, but some great homes as well. I love the walkability of this neighborhood, and you can get some homes where you don't have to spend an arm and a leg to have a decent house. So if you've got further questions or you want to talk more about your home search, maybe this neighborhood wasn't for you, but you want to know some other options, just reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. Do not be shy. I love hearing from you guys. You can text me, give me a call, or send me an email, whatever is most comfortable for you. Let's set up a time to chat and we can go from there. But you guys, thanks for hanging with me. As always, if you see me on the wild, make sure you say hello. I would love to say thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. But you guys, until next time, I'll see you around the neighborhood.